Hi guys, good evening and welcome to another episode of It's All About League One. Tonight I am joined by the one and only Pieman. Good evening, Ben. How are you, mate? And big
Hello,
thank you
Freddie. All
for...
well?
I'm very well, mate.
All good,
Thank you.
thanks, mate. All good, thanks.
It's a big thank you for taking the time out, mate, to come and talk to us tonight about Swindon Town, mate.
Pleasure, mate. Well, pleasure's all mine. Look forward to it.
No problem at all. Obviously, going ahead, we're just going to start talking about League Two last season. I know you guys, you were playing absolutely fantastic football. You had a couple of very good players in you and Doyle, Jerry Yates, who were getting the goals for you. Just talk to us a little about League Two, mate.
League Two was a fantastic season, and it's a shame it's ended early. I think we had the perfect cocktail. We had a great squad, a good manager, a young progressive manager in Richie Wellens. I think, and we had a good mixture. We had a good mixture of players, with creativity players, Michael Doherty, Anthony Grant. Obviously, you mentioned about Doyle. You mentioned Jerry Yates, who you know very well. Lloyd Isgrove, Keshi Anderson as well featured quite well last season. Was at the time quite popular with the fans.
Yeah,
it was the best squad in League Two by far, playing the best football. Crew might say otherwise, but we were we were winning that league by a long way. And we were top of the league for like 4 months till the last 4 months of the season. And it was wonderful, especially Owen Doyle. I think he scored 11 games on the spin, which equaled a club record as well, and 25 goals he had at March by the time the season ceased. His partnership with Yates was fantastic, and it was brilliant. Really, really good. Enjoyed it, and thoroughly great, enjoyable football.
Fantastic, and obviously, not being a Swindon fan, I'm looking from an outside point of view. It was interesting to see that Richie Wellens actually brought that philosophy of attacking football into Swindon, and the way that you attacked League Two, it left you with a lot of admirers. I must admit.
Well, yeah, it was ultra attack. We conceded a few goals at the time. We got a young keeper in Stephen Bender from Fulham. And is absolutely amazing. He took a couple of games to get used to, but it was coming to a firm fan's favourite. And we leaked the odd goal, but we scored so many. We were creating chance after chance. We could have buried a lot of teams. And it was a team that it was a beyond a League Two level side, and it was great to watch. It was a pleasure, and it was a shame it ended when it did, because it deserved the big fanfare at the end and the run-in, but it sadly wasn't to be.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of them things. Obviously, talking to a few of your fans pre-season, I know that you took that confidence, came into League One, and even a couple of your fans thought that you were going to have a promotion push this season. What was your thoughts on that?
Well, the idea at the time, Richie said he wanted to keep the nucleus of the side together. He wanted to keep, the spine as it was, improve in about 4 or 5 areas, and take the momentum on to next season. We felt with the football, we could take that, start well with the good football, and a little bit of a fun side to watch. And we were actually tipped originally to do quite well. We signed some good players initially, players like Jack Payne, who had done quite well previously in League One. And the early signs of pre-season were looking quite good, but then it kind of sort of ground to a halt halfway through the summer, when obviously we got news of what was going on off the field, and things start to change.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, going behind the scenes is something that we'll touch on very shortly. But I just want to know, obviously, that confidence that you had coming into League One up to now. What's happened? Where's that confidence gone?
Well, the football to start with. The football was completely different to what we used to. As I say, you're a Blackpool fan. You saw us the other day, and that is nothing like the team that we saw last season in confidence, in actual mindset, and the way they've been taught and do. It was very much. I'm just talking about the way we play, especially at home. And I compared this to, when England play a sort of a Minnows team, and they sort of let them have the ball in their own half, then just pack it. As soon as you get into their half, they your job is to break us down and see if we can nick a scrap something. And that's sort of our attitude. It's the sort of ultra defensive. You try and break us down, we'll let you have the ball. And it teams that are out of form get the ball and they get used to it, and they've got good footballers, and eventually they create chances. And at this level, you will concede goals eventually, and which is not good enough at the end of the day. And I think it's just that mindset of that. We've been unlucky with injuries at the start of the season. We had a terrible run of injuries. We had like the bulk of like 10, 11 players out. We've had good players signed from, sold from under us. Players like DJ sold in the last minute of transfer, deadline day, who was such an important player for us. He was so good. In Matty Smith as well, bizarrely given away. Told you is unwanted, was one of the better midfielders in the league. Now doing a decent job at Charlton. He was fantastic. Probably still one of our players of the season. And he's left 3 months ago. And we're probably. I've supported Swindon I'm 40 years old. I've supported Swindon all my life, and I've probably seen the second worst goalkeeper that I'd had seen. We played in Kovar in goal. He's a youth player. We probably tried to do the same with Bender did. We actually had that. Is it named Bentley? That player that's playing for Accrington anyway. We had him all pre-season. We were going to sign him, but Chelsea moved the goalposts, so we didn't end up getting him. We ended up picking this young keeper from Man United called Kovar, and he just wasn't ready. He looked like he was like 16. It's just long, spindly thing. And his high-profile errors were awful. There's just no confidence. Defence have no confidence in him, and he was shot to pieces. And our second goalkeeper was rubbish as well. But we had no budget to play with. We sort of spanked it all on a couple of players, and then when there was nothing left, we sort of made do with really awful, average signings, and we didn't replace what we had. So that combined, and then when Richie walked out on us, and then we left with the polar opposite to Richie Wellens in John Sheridan, who is brought in as sort of the Sam Allardyce of the lower leagues. He puts fires out, and he's a bit old school. He's a bit of a shouty manager. He's not into really, not mid tactics, but he was just into just like digging in, working in, getting results, being hard to break down. But we carried on conceding those silly goals, and the goals at the other end, which were scoring quite freely, started drying up. So obviously, the fans aren't too happy about this, but we can't voice this because we're not allowed in the stadium. But the confidence dries up, and players, for example, Brett Pittman, we played the long ball a lot. And Brett Pittman was brought in initially to be, you are my Owen Doyle replacement.
Right,
box to box, renowned to scoring goals. You will not need to do a lot of running. You just do what you do in the box. Which is what Owen Doyle did. He didn't drop back and win the ball that often. His job, if he touched the ball 5 times and 3 were shots, Richie were happy. But now, and that's initially how we started. But now we're just pumping long balls, and the bloke's barrel chested, and he's had he's past his best a few years ago. It's not that type of striker. It's to say like a Gary Medina, a big strong striker that we do need. We just not got one at all. So how we play doesn't match how Sheridan envisions his game, and Sheridan's not good enough to manager to adapt his style to meet our qualities. So it's just a mismatch, and it's not worked. And the chairman's just not done anything. He's just not reacted. He's not even thrown his hat in the ring and just said, right, something needs to change here. He's just not done it. He's just not bothered.
Yeah, I completely understand. I can completely agree with you there, mate. Obviously at Blackpool, we had the Oystons.
Yeah.
I'm sure, obviously, you being a football fan, you know how the Oystons Blackpool Football Club. Luckily for us now, we have got the Oystons out, which is a huge relief for our football fans. And we've got Simon Sadler in now. Obviously, you've touched there upon Richie Wellens leaving and then going to John Sheridan. So obviously, with Richie Wellens leaving, how did that impact the players and obviously the philosophy of football that you guys are playing compared to what John Sheridan brought in?
Well, it's obviously they've been brought up in a certain way of playing, and when Richie left, it was a bit of a sour taste because towards the build-up, when Salford, and I understand why the link was there, because he's from Salford, he still lives in the area, his family are there, and obviously it's the Man United connection as well, because of the Gary Neville and everything. So, and he being a former Man United player. And so I understand why the link was there, but throughout the speculation, he goes, I'm a Swindon Town manager, I'm not interested, I'm here to do a job, throughout, just quashed it.
Yeah.
Then the day we were playing away at Plymouth, that very day, Salford put in an approach, and initially we turned it down, but then Richie just went, well, no, I want to go. It's in my contract clause that I can speak to these people if I want to, and he just said, no, I'm off. And that was a day of a game, so it didn't go down too well. And but it was also showing that, like, he jumped ship and things weren't great. And we carried on playing decent football for a while, but then eventually, obviously, John had his own ideas and his own way of playing, which is just we've just got players that just are not used to it, and they're built and to play a certain way and brought in to play a certain way, which was Richie's way, and now they've got to change everything. The whole thought, it's now just looking for the big man and work off them rather than passing, quick movement, high press. It's just sit back. And obviously it's not the style they signed up for, and they can't be enjoying that either, which obviously grains the confidence as well. I'd much rather, if we went down fighting and actually having a go, rather than just passing by each game and sleepwalking through. But it's how it is.
I guess from a fan's perspective as well, mate, it's been very hard to go from that free attacking football to what John Sheridan's brought in now. I mean, John Sheridan is known for keeping teams up in League One. So if there's a manager in the division that will keep you guys up, it will be John Sheridan.
Yeah, well, he's been there and done that, and like the older fans love him, because obviously they've been in sort of dire positions, and he sort of dragged them up. And he is, he does put out fires, but if he does, then fair play to him, and he moves on at the end of the season, and we're still in League One, and brilliant, all kudos. But the squad that he's got shouldn't be where we are. Still, the players that we have. Yeah.
You've got some good players, haven't you? Grant in midfield. He's
we've got Grant. But there was heavily linked to join you guys as well in the summer. We've got Jack Payne. We've got Scotty Twine as well, and it's just very, very, very good technical players. Obviously, we've got Brett Pittman, who's well known for scoring goals at this level. We've got the young player from Swansea, Garrick, who's really highly rated over there. He's not quite hit the straps since being down there, but the Swansea fans think he's excellent. He should be in this team with them. So we've got, I can earmark good players, players that are successful. We've got another one, Odemeo, who's been linked with quite a few championship clubs already for a move in the summer, who plays centre back, right back, or the right side of a back three. Very talented footballer, confident on the ball, good passer. So we've got good players. We've got players who are experienced. John Grounds, again, championship player, played years in the championship. Paul Caddis, another player, has been around for years in the championship. So we've, the keeper we've just got in as well, Lee Camp, is he's played most of his years in the championship.
Yeah, he's very experienced, Lee Camp, isn't he? Very experienced indeed.
So on paper, it should be. We are one of the stronger. I won't say we're the best team, because I don't know that much of the fellow strugglers. But on paper, we should be one of the favourites, especially with the run to stay up.
Yeah.
But again, with the mindset and the football the club is in, and the stuff that's going off the field, can't be helping. And the form we're in, which is terrible, it's hard. It's hard to see. We're hoping more than expecting.
Yeah, I did look at the results just briefly before coming on. I know that you lost your last game, didn't you? 3-0 to Peterborough.
Yeah.
You've lost 3 games in total. You won the 2 prior to that, including against Fleetwood. So every credit for that one.
That's all right. I didn't know. I thought you might like that.
And then you lost a 3 prior to that. So it's just going to be very difficult for you, isn't it? The next thing I'd like to talk about, Ben, is obviously yourself and I spoke earlier on today, and you came across very frustrated about what's going on behind the scenes. Well, so obviously, for people that don't know what's going on behind the scenes, can you obviously talk about that and how you feel about that and how it's affecting things on the playing field?
If I told you in detail what was going on behind the scenes, or what we do know behind the scenes, you'd need a couple of hours.
Right. Okay.
So I'll try and sum this up the best I can.
All right.
Lee Power himself is a colourful character. He's a very colourful character and a bit of a wheeler dealer. And he has not been popular with the Swindon fans for quite some time. And there's lots of rumours, which I'm not going to go into because at the moment, you're unfounded and I don't want to be sued. But there's lots of things that we all kind of know, but can't prove at the moment. The way Lee Power runs the club and how where the club is financially, he doesn't release the books. He has been the sole owner and director of the club since the beginning. And he doesn't communicate with the fans. He doesn't also often talk to us. We don't know where we are financially. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it must be very frustrating for you being a fan and not having that communication there.
Exactly. Now, just after the season was sort of ended, but not pulled, sort of April time, a news story broke out that Lee Power was trying to sell the club. He had a bidder, a company called Abel, who put a big high cash offer in for the club.
Okay.
But it went to court because there was a court injunction blocking the sale by two parties. One was by someone who was a non-executive director, a gentleman called Clem Morfini. Clem Morfini had said that he had given Power 1.5 million for 15% shares of the club, which Lee Power had not given him. And that is actually straightforward and now has been sorted out. Clem has got his shares, and we actually like Clem. Clem's a good guy in this, and Clem's hoping that someone that we actually end up owning the club if we still keep going. The other one is a bit more murky. The other one was a gentleman called Michael Standing, who is an agent of Gareth Barry. And Michael Standing claims that he owns 50% of Swindon Town Football Club. Now, since 2013, him and Gareth Barry initially had put in a total of 7.1 million into the club. And they had meetings, arrangements that they were taking percentage out of player sales, but they wouldn't be officially, given the shares because agents are not allowed to run or own football clubs, nor players. But he came out and went, no, you can't sell the club without my permission because I own half the club. And this breaks FA rules basically on rules. And this is quite a heavy rule breakage because it's on about own funding and ownership rules. So that is going to court. The trial will be sometime between December and March, end of this year, start of next year. So a long way off.
Yeah.
Since that day, Lee Power has completely just dropped the ball. He has twice come on the radio, only twice, both times just after he's been in court, both to say that the club is in financial, on the brink of going under. I mean, completely falling to pieces, as in bankruptcy. Clem disputes this. He's not seen the books. Power's still not giving Clem the books, but Clem's gone, look, we've made a lot of money through couple of academy player sales that have been gone for decent money, FA handouts, the DJ money, the sale of Freeman, Luke, and a few others as well that Power's just sold on. So this club should not be in any sort of, actually we should be on the profit, making money. So if there's any money being lost, it's Power has been taking money out of the club, and there's obviously been rumours of Power been taking large lumps of money throughout the club and the trust of minimal. But That's all rumours and nothing that I can definitely hold. And say it's definitely happening. But
again, just briefly, I can, as being a Blackpool fan, I can actually relate to that. Obviously, we had the sale of Charlie Adam, DJ Campbell, and with the Oystons, obviously going up to the Premier League as well and getting 90 million. They pocket it all. They didn't invest in the club, and I can understand the frustration. Obviously, you guys are, going through that. We've been through that, so can completely relate to you.
Yeah, well, it's because when you said you're a Blackpool fan, it's a similar type of thing, and it's just a wall of silence, and it's neglect as well. For example, like you all know what you're doing next season for season ticket money. You all know what you're doing with in terms of what's happening with the refunding of this season's season tickets. Obviously, there's a shortfall because but there's nothing from the club. Absolutely, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on with the season tickets next season. We don't know what's going on if there's going to be any sort of refunds or anything, any sort of thing going back. There is nothing. The club do not comment. There's been an open letter from the trust asking for just where we stand, where the club is. The club's just ignored, nothing back at all. And it's just a wall of silence. And the fans have no voice because we can't protest. We can't do anything because we've been, obviously, we've been in lockdown for the last year. So we can't make our voices heard. But this case that's coming up, it's probably going to quite go national. It's going to be quite murky. And we're probably going to find other things come out of it. And I have no idea how harsh the punishment is going to be. But there's going to be something, but we don't know if found guilty. But even the press statement was released when this story broke, and the FA released a statement that that we were under, well, we had been charged. The club came out with probably the shortest one, the worst thing, because usually come out, we dispute this or anything. It was just like, we are well aware of the FA charges and we'll be seeking legal action. That's it. Nothing. Just like one sentence, and that's it.
Okay.
That's all. That's anything they've spoken to the fans about. So it's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating.
Yeah, it must be.
We've got players that are linked to go left, right, and centre. He's stripped most assets that we've got. We've got very little left, and obviously we're facing relegation. And what happens then? Are we going to get a possible point deduction as well?
Yeah.
Where are we going to be next season? Are we going to be playing kids in League Two next season? Are we going to be, are we going to survive in League Two next season? Where are we going to be? Are we going to? So it's just the big unknown. But we need this sorted quickly. Ideally, Power gets banned. that's what fans want. But my own personal point of view, that this sort of thing will carry on, and
Oh, I think I've lost you there, Ben.
Hang on.
There you are. You come back.
Sorry, I had a phone call. I'm on my phone and someone rang me. Sorry.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all, mate.
Yeah, I think these broke owners will continue to do it unless they are held accountable. And if something happened to Swindon or he went under, Lee Power will be fine. He'll just go off and find something else. So until these people are held accountable for doing what they're doing, then it's always going to carry on. And it's sad. It's really sad because this is a great club. But there's nothing.
Do you think? Do you think that as a fan, do you think that the FA should do more to stop owners like the Oystons and the guy, like your chairman, to stop them coming and taking clubs and destroying clubs?
It's like, what is the fit and proper person's test? What do you need to do? Spell your name right. Lee Power was involved with Russian Diamonds, and we know what happened with them.
Yeah.
Cambridge had he was involved with Cambridge, and they had a lot of financial issues. He is quite a number, and you check out his wiki. He's got a number of failed businesses and companies that have just gone up the Swanee, and and you look at that, and it's like, how does someone like that obtain a football club? How does he pass the fit and proper persons?
Yeah, exactly.
He got a bit of cash that he fronted up with, here's money that I've got, and then took it away again. So that it really is. Do you have some money? Can you spell your name? I think that must be it. That needs to be some serious, or because it's I remember having to Orient the other day when they got lucky the other year. Obviously yourselves have gone through it.
Berry as well.
Yeah, Bury's another one, and it's going to happen a lot, and especially off the back of the of the pandemic as well. This, you might be picking up one or two other clubs that are hidden as well, but obviously there's something that needs to be done. But as a fans, there's nothing you can do. The Swindon, the club itself, is innocent. 100%. It's not the players, it's not the fans, it's not the staff, and Lee Power's been sole owner and director. So it's only one man. So surely you would do it. But Swindon wouldn't have profited of it. I doubt Swindon would have profited of anything that Lee Power's done. So, but it's the club that will get punished. And it's sad. But
yeah, it is. It is indeed. Yeah. Obviously, do you think all this uncertainty about the future is affecting the players? Obviously, the way they play on the pitch.
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna help. Obviously, then it's security. They don't know where they're gonna be in 3 months' time. So obviously that's gonna play their heads. They're obviously gonna be, because like Barnsley reportedly approached Jack Payne with a decent 6-figure fee for him, and obviously he's gonna start thinking of going, well, if I go down, does it really matter? But obviously it's going to affect morale. It's going to affect training. You're going to have Chinese whispers, what's going on, and obviously with the manager as well and how he is. So yeah, it's going to affect the confidence. It's going to affect the players. It'd be non-human not to. Obviously, they're professional and they'll get on with it and they'll say the right things and they'll do the right thing. They'll go for the motions. But at the end of the day, they could just think to themselves, "Well, in a month's time, I'm not going to be here anyway, am I?" So
yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, it just sounds like a big mess, unfortunately, and it's obviously you guys as fans that suffer from it. At the end of the day, without football fans, there wouldn't be football, would there?
No. Well, that's it. That's exactly that. And it's not the same, is it? You're watching the football. I know we're all emotionally involved with our own club, so we all could sit there and watch the follow with it. But I can't really watch the Premier League. It doesn't really float my boat with empty stadiums. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
So the fans are everything in football, and football needs the fans. And I think football needs to just actually reevaluate where it's going and the direction it is, and see
definitely
how it can get more fans involvement, whether there needs to be trust involvement, Lauren, whether the trust needs to be involved with every club and the way the club is run, or percentage of the shares goes to the fan. I don't know. But
yeah. Okay. That's fair enough, and I hope obviously everything does get sorted for you eventually. I know that obviously the way that Blackpool managed to get the Oysters out was through having a boycott. The only way that we were going to get them out was from hurting the pocket. So
yeah, well, that's a kind of there's probably a few Swindon fans think, but the thing with Lee Power is he wants to go. He's not just going there.
All right, okay.
No, I'm not going. I'm not leaving. He's openly trying. He's trying to sell the club. He just says, I don't want to do. He obviously says, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah,
and he wants to sell the club, but he's got a court injunction preventing him from selling it. We've also got a buyer who wants to sell it in Clem Morfina. He said all the right things. He's gone on about transparency. His company, he's an Australian man. He owns Axis Construction, who specialised in stadium development. He went in this 50-50 bid to buy the freehold of the county ground, which they used to start rebuilding, knocking the town end down, building that up. And he's got the money behind him. He's got legitimate businesses, and he wants to own the club and take it forward.
Okay.
But he can't. But Power can't sell it, not until the standing power thing is sorted out.
Yeah.
So it's obviously it's all murky. Nothing's proved yet, so it's all allegedly and all but it's we'll see what the summer brings, and we'll see where we are.
Yeah.
And I just hope that if we're still a League One club, then that will help a lot. But we'll see what
that kind of takes me nicely into looking at the last six games for Swindon Town. I know you've got 3 away games, haven't you? You've got 2 home games. Obviously, your next game is against Rochdale, which could be a massive game for you guys. Rochdale are down there at the bottom, struggling. What's your thoughts? Obviously, what's your thoughts on the Rochdale game?
Well, I think whoever doesn't win is really up against it. I think it's a must win for both sides, really. I think Rochdale probably more than ourselves because they are really stranded, but I think we need to win. If we can win, then we are sort of right on the precipice of stay.
Yeah.
of that line. So it's a game that we need to go in and hopefully get something out of, ideally a win. I know after that we've got Wimbledon is another one, so it's a sort of double header, which is coming on the Saturday.
Is it Wigan? Wigan away.
Wigan's
I know you've got,
so we've got
Portsmouth at home.
Yeah, Portsmouth at home. We've got
MK Dons away. Ipswich at home.
Ipswich at home as well. So
and then Wigan away.
Yeah, so all of them, because Ipswich are hit and miss club, and Portsmouth are sort of the same at the minute as well. So all of them, you could conceivably say we could get something out of, any of them. But it's a weird time in the season. You don't know. At the moment, spirit is down. We've lost the last 3. You know, 2 of the performances have been woeful. Our performances away from home have been better. We should have got something out of Burton. Obviously, we beat Fleetwood recently. We beat them. That's probably the most comfortable performance. Fleetwood really average that day. You know, they barely had a shot on goal. We beat Bristol Rovers, who again another 6-pointer struggler, and we won up there that way. So we can take confidence in that, because at home we've been terrible. But yeah, we'll see what it brings. It's impossible to judge, really. You know, one result and you're back up thinking that you got a good chance. But
it is very tight down at the bottom, isn't it? I'm just looking at the table now. I know you've got Northampton on who 19th on 41 points. 40 points and play 41 games. 20th place you've got Wimbledon, 39 games, 39 points. 21st place you got Wigan on 40 games, 38 points. Bristol Rovers 41 points, 41 games, 38 points, and then yourselves 23rd place, 40 games played, 37 points, and then Rochdale down at the bottom with 39 played and 33 points. So it does show that obviously if you guys can get a win or 2 going into the last 6 games, there might be a bit of light at the end of the tunnel for you.
Well, yeah, I'd say it's hard to judge what points total is, but it's because we're playing the teams around us. You'd say it's in our hands. I'd say take 7 points out of the teams around us, out of Rochdale, Wimbledon, and Wigan, and and a point at one of the others, and you'd say that'd be enough.
Yeah,
but it's it's going to go. I've just got the feeling it's going to go to Wigan and a shootout at the end of the season.
Yeah, the last game of the season.
Yeah, Wigan.
Wigan actually had a really good game on Saturday, didn't they? So they can take a lot of confidence from that going into the last few games.
Yeah, Wigan. It's a weird time because the teams that are mid-table, tend to half switching off a little bit, half their minds on the beach. You'd much rather play a mid-table team than a team near the bottom who are fighting. I think Wigan have been doing that of recent. Their results have been upturning, but even Wimbledon, I think they won 5-1 as well, didn't they, on Saturday? So
they did. Yeah,
all results are possible. It's a weird time of year. It is weird. Where
it is.
It's impossible to judge. Really, at the end of the day, I just hope that I'd love to stay up. I'd love it. I'm not. I hope we do, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I do wish you the best of luck, bud. I do, and I hope you guys stay up, and I hope that you get resolved. Obviously, get a new owner come in who you were saying then wants to buy the club. Yeah. And I hope that you can, obviously get everything together. Obviously, being a Blackpool fan, Ben, I'm going to ask you, what's your opinion on Blackpool, and do you think that Blackpool can get promoted?
Yeah, I think you're one of the informed teams in the league at the moment, and you love Jerry as much as we do. I've never seen.
Yeah, we do.
When he was us, he was on loan, and I've never seen a lone player fight for the shirt so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the commitment of the player, and he's got some ability as well. And he's only young. He's going to get better. Bagging him on a 3-year deal was terrific.
Yeah, his work ethic for me. He just gives 110% every single game, and now he's got 18 league goals and 20 for the season.
Yeah, and he'll love it. You wait till you watch him live as well. The way he celebrates the goals in front of the fans. He's a massive chest. He loves it. And he just loves being a footballer, and he loves scoring goals, and he just loves everything about it, the game. And it's infectious, and it's brilliant. And for him alone, I want you to go up, because I wish him nothing but success. He scored it the other day, and he's still just all love for him. He's a top player. The opposite to Keshi. I'm not too keen on Keshi.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, he's got a bit of a he was at the club for 3 years. 2 years, he was pretty rubbish actually. But the club wanted to Richie put him on the transfer market and just said like, you've got no future here.
Okay.
Because his attitude's a bit, he's got ability, but he didn't really turn. But his last season, he did turn it on, and he became stalwart, and then they made him number 10 years old. But he picked up a lot of injuries. He's got dodgy hamstrings.
Yeah, he's actually he's been injured most of the season. To be fair, I was impressed with him the way that he started at Blackpool early on in the season. Oh yeah, he bagged a goal or two, but yeah, just obviously from what he said there, he's very injury prone, and we're hoping that we can get him back towards the back end of the season.
Yeah,
give us a couple more options.
The way that his way he's left and the way he brought, because there was the big there was the big thing, because obviously you signed Jerry Yates and then you signed Keshi, and then you were trying to secure Anthony Grant as well.
Yeah,
and obviously they came back from holiday together because obviously they went for an end of season do.
Keshi released a picture, didn't he, on social media?
The whole un dos tres when they picked up picked up Granty, and that wound the fans up no end. And even at the end of the other day, he retweeted the scoreline and just put things you love to see and a couple of tangerines. And it's like, wasn't Keshi, but he's like 3 years we gave him. We sort of built him up from this like reserve Premier League player he was at Palace, and to a proper first team player, and he sort of like, cheers mate. So it's our things to Keshi are not quite the same as Jerry. I guarantee if Keshi would have scored against us, it would have been like knee sliding and kicking the back. But old Jerry turned around and walked back to the centre circle.
He didn't really celebrate, did he, scoring against Swindon? You could tell obviously that you guys are close to his heart.
Yeah, well, he spent the whole day taking photos with the staff and then everyone's got so much time for the fella. He's just a top man.
Yeah, nice guy. Yeah. So anyway, Ben, that concludes obviously today's show. I just want to say a huge thank you again for taking your time to come and talk to me. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have.
No, it's always a pleasure. Thanks, Freddie. I appreciate this. Thanks very much. Thanks.
No problem at all. If you can just stay on, mate, I'll just talk to you briefly after the show. All right. Just for you guys watching, it is a brand new channel, so if you want to hit the subscribe button, we are going to be bringing you obviously news from League One. So yeah, if you hit the subscribe button, guys, I appreciate it. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks again, Ben, and best of luck for the rest of the season. I hope you get everything sorted out, mate.
Cheers, mate, and yourself. Good luck for the season.
See you later, guys.